So, round 31 of Ligue 1. So I've got a complete full video here with all my match previews for this round, all 10 matches. And just like the Norway video, I'm starting off with a screen which highlights all my picks for this round. In case that's all you're interested completely, they are the 4 picks there. PSG minus 1.25 Asian handicap, Brest versus Nantes, both teams to score, Strasbourg draw no bet, and Marseille Montpellier, both teams to score. So those are the 4 selections. I've got those explained in the videos after this match. There's not going to be any Ligue 2 previews this weekend. I'm away for a few days, so I've had to prioritise leagues, and to be honest with you, I've got a better feel for Norway and Ligue 1 right now, to be honest with you, so I've had to prioritise. So nothing for Ligue 2 for this round, but that will be coming back next weekend for sure. But yeah, after this, we've got all 10 matches in one video. Remember, you can watch them separately as well if you want, if you prefer it that way, on the playlist. So yeah, good luck this weekend. Let's hope we get a few winners. The Friday match in Ligue 1 this week is Lorient against Saint-Etienne, and 8 PM kickoff time in the UK. And it's a match between two sides who are in that bottom part of the table. 16th place Lorient against 18th Saint-Etienne, just 1 point between them. And both sides have been in fairly good form recently. Well, for sides down there anyway. You know, Lorient did get beaten by PSG 5-1 last week. But you can't really hold that against them, can you? PSG, a different class when they're in the mood. Prior to that, they picked up some solid points, really, ever since sort of the 2nd of February when they beat Lens. You know, they've shown enough form, I think. They had one poor game against Lyon. Again, can't really hold it against them. They've not got a bad home record this season. 4 wins, 5 draws, it's okay. And Santé away from home overall is poor, but they have won. Yeah, sorry, they picked up 7 points from the last 4 away games, which is not too bad. It's a tough game to predict this. Both sides are missing a midfielder. Bonke Innocent is injured for Lorient, and Madi Camara is suspended by his own club for an internal incident with a fight he had with the third choice goalkeeper in training. Apart from that, Wabi Kazri is still out, I think, for Saint-Etienne. Most of the squad for both sides is fit and available though, and it's a tough match to predict. I look at the odds for this game. Lorient slight favourites between a draw no bet handicap and a minus 0.25. Feels about fair. The over under goal line, it's in between 2 and 2.25, which again, it feels quite fair. I sense a draw in this game. I really do. I think could be 0-0 or 1-1. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring match. A point for each side isn't too bad right now. Saint-Etienne, yes, they could do with the victory, but you know, they just keep clocking up the points away from home and getting some wins at home, and they've got a good chance of escaping this relegation battle. As I say, I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. I'm not going to bet on the game. Tough game to forecast, and I think it'd be quite a cagey affair between two sides who would not turn down a point each right now. So no bet for this one. Reims against Rennes. This is a Saturday 4 PM kickoff time in the UK in Ligue 1, and an intriguing contest between, I think, a Reims side who are going to try and sort of, well, suck Rennes into a sort of low scoring match. They're going to try and frustrate them, be hard to break down, because this Rennes side is probably the in-form outfit in Ligue 1 if we look at their form here. And you know, ever since they beat Bordeaux 6-0, they've looked like scoring goals for fun, haven't they? Even Nice couldn't restrict them last week in a 1-1 draw. They did a bit of a better job than some other teams did, and it took Rennes, I think, 77 minutes to equalise in that game. So it's a very similar test for Rennes against Reims here, because Nice operate very similar in that they're defensive, hard to break down, and Reims are going to be the exact same. They're an effective side. They've got some strong defenders like Wout Faes and Thomas Fouquet, and the goalkeeper Rajkovic is just really, really good in my opinion. And last week they lost 1-0 at Trois. It was their last minute winner. They were down to 10 men for nearly the entire second half, and they have had a few issues with red cards this season. Massassi was suspended because of that red card last week, midfielder. The Hugo Ekitike, the highly rated forward who Newcastle have been linked with, is probably still injured, but he's due to return soon. I mean, Rennes, they do score goals for fun, but it does take two to tango. And as I say, I don't think rounds are here to dance. So we look at the odds, 1.91 on Rennes, and I would say yes, they probably will win, but it might take them a little bit of time to break rounds down. It might be the sort of game they keep knocking and knocking and knocking on the door, and eventually they find a way through. But I couldn't be sure because rounds just have a knack of getting results, don't they? And look at the over-under line here. I would actually lean towards the unders rather than over for this game, and I'm not interested in betting on the contest. I'm going to predict 1-0 away win for Rennes. I actually think they're going to find life difficult here, but find a way to win because they're in that sort of great run of form. They're challenging for Europe. They should just about get the 3 points, but I'm happy to leave this one alone. Clermont against PSG, a Ligue contest this Saturday. 8 PM kickoff time in the UK. It is the evening late slot. So let's have a look at these teams then. And Clermont, I'm starting to get a bit worried about them, I'm not going to lie. 4 consecutive defeats now. They actually had a good run, sort of back end of January into February, where they beat sides like Rennes, Nice and Marseille, and you're thinking they're going to be fine, they're going to be alright, but then they've passed up on chances to get points or wins against Bordeaux, Lorient, Nantes at home, and four defeats in a row now. It's starting to get concerned. Their home record this season is not great, the 3rd worst in the league, just 3 wins out of 15. Now, if we look at PSG's form, it's they've actually lost their last 3 away games: Nantes, Nice, and Monaco. To be fair, those locations can be hard places to visit, and they did have a few other distractions around here. Champions League, I think, when Nantes was on, and maybe Nice as well. They were pathetic away at Monaco, not going to lie. That was a really poor performance. But I'm expecting PSG to assert themselves on this game because 5-1 win against Lorient last week. They looked relaxed. They looked in the mood finally, and they're scoring quite a few goals. I feel like at the start of the season for Clermont on getting promoted, this is the match they all look forward to. But are they really going to be able to enjoy it because they're hovering right above this relegation zone? 17th place. There's teams breathing down their neck. Metz against Bordeaux this weekend as well, so but at least one of them teams, if not both, are going to get points. Clermont, they've got a suspension for this game. So Abdul Samid is suspended. They've got various injury doubts as well. The squad was affected by COVID last week, so I don't know if the likes of Gastien and Cunha are going to be available here. Maybe they are, but they've had a few squad issues. I don't really trust PSG, but I'm going to take them on this handicap, minus 1.25 handicap, at the minute 1.75, generally in the 1.7 mark. I think they're going to claim a fairly comfortable win, 3-0 or 2-0. I'm going to take this line just in case they win by 1 goal. You're only going to lose half, but realistically this should be a straightforward success for PSG. Do I trust them fully? No, but I think they can get the job done against a poor looking Clermont of late. Bordeaux against Metz, and this is the battle between the basement teams in Ligue 1. It's a Sunday midday kickoff time in the UK, a crucial fixture for both. What can I say about these sides? They've been horrendous really in the last few months, and there's a reason why they're 19th and 20th in the table. They're on the same number of points, and the loser of this game could be in really big trouble. You look at sides above, certainly Saint-Etienne have been in better form recently. Yes, the likes of Clermont have been struggling, but you've got to think at least one, if not both of these sides may well be automatically relegated at the end of the season. And Bordeaux changed their manager, David Guillon came in. It's not really made much of a difference, to be honest. I mean, there started with 2 draws. They did grind out an improbable 0-0 against Lille last week. I must say they actually, for once, showed a bit of grit, determination, and fought hard. Got the 0-0 with 10 men for most of the second half. Courtin was sent off and he's suspended for this game. As for Metz, it's 9 games without a win. 4 of those have ended 0-0, and that really has been the only way they've been getting any points in the last few weeks. I'm really worried about both sides, and I mean, how do you work this one out? Bordeaux are favourites around the even money mark. Could you trust them? Absolutely not. I have always had a theory when 2 really poor sides play each other at this stage of the season, they get desperate. Both fancy the win, both know they have to win, and it can lead to a really surprisingly high scoring contest. And normally I would kind of back the overs here. It actually ended 3-3 when these 2 sides met early in the season, by the way. I think overs and both teams to score are quite tempting, but that's only on a gut feeling. You can get 2.04 on both to score and over 2.25 is at 1.97. So I've got a gut feeling actually both will score in this game, but I certainly can't hang my hat on it. There's always, both really need the win, so inevitably, probably end a draw, won't it? But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Wouldn't even surprise me if it went 2-2 actually. I think it'd be more open than we think. But alternatively, both have struggled so badly recently, they might be so confident so low that it ends 0-0. I've no intention of getting involved here, but a massive game for both sides. Angers against Lille. It's a Sunday Ligue 1 game, 2 PM kickoff time in the UK, between a Lille side who are unbeaten in several matches and Angers who have been desperately struggling to pick up results. And Lille are in 7th place, still in the hunt for European positions, but they have dropped a few points recently that they would have expected to win. Angers are in 14th, they're 5 clear of that relegation zone, but as we're going to see soon, recent form has not been very good. Let's start with Lille though, because they are unbeaten in 7 games now, but draws at home to Saint-Etienne and Bordeaux have not been ideal. They've been unable to break down 2 sides struggling down at the bottom at home, and that is the issue for Lille. When sides do park the bus against them, it can be difficult for them to break through and get the goals, and that's the concern. I mean, they have lacked goals apart from the 4-0 win against Clermont. It's often been just a 1-0 win that they can pick up, and I think that's the sort of scoreline I would lean towards here actually, because it might only take 1 goal to break through Angers. But I mean, look at Angers' form here. Their last 9 games, they've lost 8 of them. It's quite staggering, isn't it? I mean, I'm not actually going to discredit them too much last week though, because I thought they played okay against Lyon. Certainly in the second half they had a much better performance. This is a different type of match though. It's not going to be a high scoring game, I don't think. I think Angers would be very happy with a point. Lille, can they find a way to get all 3? I don't know. From a betting perspective, probably under 2.25 here is what I would look at. 1.84 price. I would be surprised if there's 3 goals in this game, but unders and me just don't mix very well at the moment. In terms of 1x2, you got Lille are the favourites, 2.3. You could back them on a -1/4 handicap. That would be the other bet you could look at here, because the most likely scoreline is something like 1-0 or 2-0 to Lille. They've got the 4th best away record in the league. They've won their last 3 on the road. Angers at home, they've lost 8 times. I'm not going to bet on this game, but I'm thinking a 1-0 road win is the most likely outcome. But Lille, do you trust them? It could equally be a draw maybe if Angers just completely shut it down. Happy not to get involved here in this tussle. Brest against Nantes. This is a 2 PM kickoff time in the UK on Sunday, Ligue 1 contest, and somewhat of a derby game actually. This, I mean, you could call it a Brittany derby if you wanted, even though Nantes is not officially in Brittany, but certainly a Western derby, and not too far for them to travel to Brest here. And Brest, for me, I think one of the hardest sides to predict in the league. Last week I got done by them. They played quite well against Montpellier, got the win there, but their form is it's up and down like anything. There's no real consistency here. They don't keep clean sheets that often. That's one thing I will say. They've got a very mixed home record this season: 5 wins, 3 draws, 6 defeats. If we look at Nantes away from home, again, very mixed record: 4 wins, 4 draws, 7 defeats. The thing with Nantes is, I've got to say, they've been playing better football in general. They got a win last week against Clermont. The 2 losses, 1-0 to Lille and Trois, that were very disappointing, I'm not going to lie. They kind of came from nowhere, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you kind of think, are they focusing on that Coupe de France final against Nice next week? Not next week, next month is that match. But they are in 8th place, 45 points. They're still in the hunt for European positions. I think this is a tough game to predict in terms of the outcome of it. Either side could win, or it could be a draw. I like both teams to score though. Like I said, I don't think Brest do not keep that many clean sheets, and Nantes are in good goal scoring form. They're without Nicolas Palois, who's ruled out until I think the start of May. Crucial centre back, big influential figure at the back, and I think without him they're always going to have this soft side to them. Brest have looked quite poor defensively since Ronald Pierre Gabriel has been injured. He's due back soon, maybe even for this game, but I can't believe he'll be immediately flung into the starting lineup. I like both teams to score, and you can get 1.94 on that outcome. I think the 1-1 draw certainly in play, or a 2-1 win either way. But I don't see either side keeping a clean sheet in this match. They're going to be both going to be up for it. They're going to fight hard, and like I said, I think it's a good, generous price on both sides to hit the back of the net in this match. Monaco against Trois, another Sunday afternoon kick-off time in Ligue 2 p.m. in the UK, and an intriguing fixture between a Monaco side who I've got a feeling they might end the season quite strongly, but I wouldn't certainly trust them fully. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, whereas Trois, they're unbeaten in 5 consecutive contests. And Monaco, they beat PSG a couple of weeks ago at home, and I feel like they gained some momentum from that. They went to Metz and won 2-1, played quite well. Okay, it was only Metz, but it was still, you know, they managed to string together a couple of wins, which is not something they managed to do very often this season. And, you know, can they maintain the momentum here against the Trois side, who, you know, they've found some form under Bruno Earls. You've got to give him some credit. I think he's a really good manager. They got him from Rouen at the start of January. It's took him some time to get the results a bit better, but you can't knock them of late. Monaco have got the players though. They're a quality side. If they play to their best, then Trois probably won't get near them, but I think Trois themselves have got some reasonable attacking firepower. Monaco have a habit of, you know, having flat spots in games where they might just concede a goal or something. Got the 6th best home record in the league, 8 wins out of 15. Trois away from home is not too great, but they, you know, they've won 4 points from the last 2 away games at least. From a betting perspective, the only thing that really tempted me here was the handicap on Monaco. If we just have a look at the price now, minus 1.25 handicap is at 1.86 on Monaco, and I thought about it. I don't know if they're going to win by more than a goal though. There's a good chance they can probably cover this line, but something in the back of my head tells me Trois are going to score in this game, and yeah, it's just a gut feeling. You know, I wouldn't hang my hat on it, and both teams to score is quite a big price. You could do maybe worse at looking at that. Ultimately, I'm happy to leave this match alone. It is a little bit of a banana skin for Trois. I'm predicting, for Monaco. I'm predicting a 2-1 win for the hosts, but I think Trois will be quite competitive in this game. And, you know, if they came up with a surprise, I wouldn't be entirely shocked. So I'll leave this one alone, thinking home win, but a tough one. Lens against Nice, and this is the late afternoon kick-off time in Ligue 1 this Sunday, 4:05 in the UK, and a battle between two sides, certainly in that European hunt, as we're going to see now. Lens have dropped down a 10th, but if they finish the season well, there's no reason why they couldn't finish in the top 6, really. Nice have drifted off form recently, and are now 5 points behind Marseille, 2 behind Rennes in that battle for the Champions League spots. Even Strasbourg have moved above them on goal difference. Now, Lens have been inconsistent of late. It's been a bit scratchy, really, since certainly the start of January, I would say. Some wins in there, some defeats as well, and the odd draw. They've become a little bit untrustworthy. I'm not quite sure what to say about that. They lost at Strasbourg last week. It wasn't the worst performance in the world, but they just didn't quite have enough. Nice, well, they lack goals, don't they? Yeah, they beat PSG here, but if you look at the last 5 games, well, if you look at the last sort of 8 games, actually, they just don't hit the back of the net enough times, do they? And it seems they've gone in this defensive type mould, and they don't have many overs. The only time they get an over is when I bet the under, like in that stupid Marseille game. But I'm not expecting too many goals here. They'll come here and certainly, I'm not saying part of the bus, but they'll be quite defensive, organised, hard to break down, and Lens would prefer a more open match. I think they're at their best when the game's open. They can counter-attack, use them wide players they've got to get a mismatch tactically, but I don't think Nice will allow that to happen. As I say, I sense it could be a low-scoring, tight tactical game. 0-0 maybe in play. Certainly feels like a draw anyway, and if I had to take anything here, it would actually be under 2.5 goals at a decent price, 1.88, but I've had enough of unders now. Lens are the favourites. I do believe the bookmakers looks about fair, that on a minus quarter handicap. I'm actually going to predict a 1-1 draw because I think there's enough quality on both sides probably to hit the back of the net individually. But overall, happy to leave this one alone. I think it would be an intriguing watch tactically, whether Lens can sort of break down a tough side and whether Nice can get them on the break. So good, maybe an interesting match to watch, but from a betting perspective, happy to leave this one alone. Strasbourg against Lyon this Sunday evening in Ligue at 6 p.m. kickoff time in the UK, and a battle between two sides in this race for Europe, and Strasbourg 4th place on 51 points. They could end up qualifying for the Champions League in the top 3 spots if they keep up their great form. Lyon have had a disappointing season, 45 points, -1 of course for the crowd trouble they had. Now, the thing with Lyon is, for this game, if they've just played in the Europa League against West Ham, they've got a 1-1 draw, they've played alright, and obviously the second leg is coming up this week, and I do wonder how much they're focusing on that competition. If Lyon win that competition, which is viable, they will qualify for the Champions League that way. I don't really see them qualifying via the league. They're 8 points off Rennes. There's a lot of sides between them and Rennes. It's going to be tricky for them. Strasbourg are such a tough nut to crack. I mean, they've only lost, I think, 2 of their last 20 games or something like that. 2 of their 19. Really, as I say, they don't lose very often, do they? Recently, they've picked up solid results against Monaco and Lens here. Similar rivals to Lyon in this position, and they know how to grind out a result. Lyon are very up and down. You just don't know what version of them is going to show up. They got a 0-0 against Rams on the back of a Europa League game, and I think this is going to be a tough test for them, to be honest. They were sloppy against Rennes. You just don't know which version of Lyon is going to show up. I suspect it will not be the top class Lyon. Strasbourg can be backed on a draw no bet handicap at 1.84. Now, of course, there could be a draw in this game, but you wouldn't lose anything if you take the draw no bet. So I think this is a good price, and I don't think Strasbourg will lose. I think I could see them winning 1-0 or 2-1. Be a close, tight win if they do get the victory. But I feel this is a really solid pick, and it's just one of them percentage plays where you're probably not going to lose very often fully. Good chance that Strasbourg get the 3 points. Could be a draw, but yeah, I think they can get Lyon cold, and maybe with their minds focusing on Europe instead. So Strasbourg to nick the 3 points, in my opinion. Marseille against Montpellier, and this is the final match of the weekend in Ligue, 8 PM kickoff time this Sunday in the UK. So an OM side who beat PAOK in the Europa Conference League on Thursday night, 2-1. That Dimitri Payet goal was pretty damn special, wasn't it? So let's have a look where they are in the table then. They're second in the league, 56 points for Marseille, won the last 3 in a row. Montpellier, they were disappointing for me last week. They lost against Brest by 2-1. Didn't look particularly impressive. So I've got to think that Montpellier are going to be a bit more fired up for this game, though. You know, it's the South Coast rivals at the Velodrome. If they can't get up for this one, which match are they actually going to get up for? And I've got a feeling that Marseille might labour towards a victory, or struggle towards a victory, let's say. They've only got the 11th best home record in Ligue 1. For some reason, they just haven't been as reliable at home this year. I don't know why. Montpellier, very mixed on the road. 7 defeats, but also 5 wins. So I think both teams are going to be up for it. You know, it's going to be quite a fiery game. The bet I like is both teams to score. Marseille have suddenly got involved in matches where they're starting to score goals, but they're conceding them as well. Same in Europe, actually. Montpellier, I don't trust their defence. And really, probably the big question in this game is if Montpellier are going to score. But I do like both teams to hit the back of the net in this clash, I've got to be honest. I think it's the safer pick. It covers the 1-1 draw if needed. Get 1.91 on both teams to score, which I think is quite a good price. If we compare that to the over-under line, which I think is at 2.5 odds on, if that's like a 2.75 goal line, there's no guarantee that's going to hit. It could, you know, it could easily end 1-1 this game. Marseille are short price favourites. Again, I think they'll win, but I can't trust them fully at the Stade Velodrome. So I'm going to take both teams to score here. I'm predicting a 2-1 victory for Marseille, but I do like that juicy pick with both sides hitting the back of the net to round off the weekend.